What's up, guys? Welcome back to MMA Mad Unfiltered, your weekly preview / look ahead / breakdown of the upcoming fight card. This week, UFC Fresno. So the main event is Cub Swanson versus Brian Ortega. Going from a pay-per-view to a fight night is always going to be a pretty big letdown. And it is if you look at top to bottom on the card. There's obviously, no matter what, you get to by the way, this is actually a contrary opinion, but a lot of people, they'll look at a card or the loaded UFC schedule or whatever and be like, oh, a lot of these fighters don't deserve to be in the UFC, or maybe it's not the most exciting UFC, quote unquote, UFC caliber bout. Honestly, I think that most of them do. I think the depth of talent's gone up along with the increased schedule. So when you look at a lot of these prelim fights, there's a lot of intrigue as far as just if you're a diehard MMA fan, there's a lot to look at. But as far as star power, definitely they're lacking on this card, which makes sense because UFC 218 had so much of it. So obviously, I mean, it's the hierarchy system. You have the pay-per-views, then you have the big Fox cards, then you have the fight nights, then you have like the Fight Pass fight nights, which actually I'm not even sure. Let me look that up real quick because I don't know if this is Fight Pass or if it's a Fox Sports 1 card. Fox Sports 1. So the prelims is always around Fight Pass, but then the 4 preliminary TV card, I don't know how to say that. The preliminary card that's going to be on TV, that's on Fox Sports 1. And then the entire main card is also on Fox Sports 1. So it's not supposed to be the greatest fight in the world. I don't know how to put it. Greatest fight card, I should say. However, Cub Swanson versus Brian Ortega is a hell of a fight. Really, really exciting fight. So I'm just going to get into that, break that down real quick. Cub Swanson, honestly, this is a weird fight because Brian Ortega's been on this crazy run, right? He's technically still undefeated. He had the no contest that got overturned because of a failed drug test. Originally a submission win for him. That was his UFC debut. He then won his next 4 in a row. All finishes. 2 of them were fight of the night. The big names on that list. Diego Brandao, if you want to call that a big name. Clay Guida, that's a big name, obviously. And then his most recent fight in July, fight of the night against Hanato Moyesano. I don't even know how. UFC 214. That's weird. I mean, his Anaheim, California card. He's a California guy, so that's probably why he was on there. But that is a weird matchup, given that he just came off a super impressive win over Clay Guida. Like, why not give him? It just seems weird. Thiago Tavares before that. I would say that's the smallest name on his resume. And whatever. That's the UFC. That's their scheduling. However they want to do it. Obviously, first of all, good matchmaking because it ended in a fight of the night. But yeah, interesting. Anyway. Moving on from that, I feel like this is a test for him to see if he's ready to move up and go on to sort of the really big names of the division. Cub Swanson's a guy who's probably right within title contention. Really exciting fighter. His last loss was to Max Holloway. It was actually the turning point for me where I realized Max Holloway was a true title contender, was that performance against Cub Swanson. So he's gone on and won every fight since then. So it's not like this isn't... A lot of times you see these matchups, and a lot of times it'll be like Brian Ortega streaking, Cub Swanson's maybe coming off a loss, or maybe he lost one and then it's coming off a win or something. But a lot of times you don't catch a guy like Cub Swanson on a 4-fight win streak. So he's on this crazy win streak, right? All decisions, so call it what you want, but extremely exciting fights for the most part. Who can forget that Doo Ho Choi fight was fight of the year in 2016 in a lot of people's books, my book as well. I'm pretty sure. He has to go back, but I'm almost positive I gave that fight of the year. I mean, it was wild stuff. So you have this 4-fight win streak. Cub Swanson, who's right within title contention, you would think. He's fighting Brian Ortega. The matchup promises to be violent and exciting in a fight of the night. Like I said, not a lot of competition as far as star power goes, which say what you want, but that does influence who gets the post-fight bonuses. But this should get fight of the night, and it's an extremely exciting fight, and I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I think Cub Swanson wins. I don't think Brian Ortega... I know he's undefeated, but I think Cub Swanson's a different level when it comes to the experience he has in the cage. He's extremely well-rounded. Both guys are. I'd say Ortega, if anything, is more of a submission guy, but obviously he has a lot of power on those hands, and he's able to get knockouts on the feet, obviously. I mean, he's done it before. He's done it throughout his career. So you do have the well-rounded danger from Brian Ortega. I just think Cub Swanson's too experienced to... Like, the people who he's lost to, if you just go through the list... I'm all over the place, but... Let me just read you the... This is insane, actually. I didn't realize. So he lost to somebody named Shannon Gaggerty. I don't know. First fight of his career, 0-1. After that, listen to these names. Jens Pulver, Jose Aldo, Chad Mendez, Ricardo Lamas, Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway. And I didn't skip one. He's 25-7, and his wins are his losses rather, are to the best featherweights to ever compete in this sport. You know what I mean? Like that's the caliber we're talking about. Is Brian Ortega going to be the next guy to beat him? I just don't see it. I don't think Cub Swanson's lost a step. I think he's still at his best. I think that he probably deserves a title fight. I would love to see him versus Max Holloway. I mean, Frankie Edgar's still in the mix, obviously, and both those guys have beaten Cub Swanson, but Cub Swanson's in the title in the discussion for the title shot still, and I think Brian Ortega is just one step closer to that. So yeah, I expect him to win. Honestly, I'm not going to predict. I'll either predict that it's going to be a decision or a knockout for Cub Swanson, but either way, it's coming late, and I think it'll probably get fight of the night, especially on this card. But that'll do it. So thank you for tuning in for MMA Mad Unfiltered. Hope you appreciated my my rambling analysis of this upcoming fight card, and tune in next week for more. Peace, guys.